Welcome everyone to the premiere podcast recording of the Doc and The Joc. I am Dr. Govan, the Doc, and to my right is
It's your boy. It's the job. It's Shawty Parker. What's happening? What's happening?
I'm really excited today about the podcast. It came about mainly because I'm so tired of hearing all of these social media life coaches give so much bad and ridiculous advice. I actually made a post the other day saying y'all gonna be single till Jesus returns, listening to these people.
Well, dog, I'm always say Sunday and Monday morning coach. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can coach everything after the game over there. How people are. What's wrong with that?
I, what, say what you mean by that? You
So
calling me a Monday morning coach?
no. I'm just saying that's generally what people do. That's generally how people are. We all have opinions. We all think we are the professionals. And I guess that's why this podcast, in my opinion, is a great opportunity because I'm one of those people you're talking about. One of those after the day life coaches. Let me tell you, I know all the answers after it done happen, but I'm not a professional. So I think I'm gonna bring that kind of layman's terms to this,
Mhm.
and then you can actually give people, I guess, the correct.
But I think that's what makes our podcast so brilliant, that it is the both and. Most of the podcasts don't actually have someone on there that really knows what they're talking about, right? So I don't have a problem with people talking about their life experiences. Where it gets really frustrating for me is when you start talking in the realm of mental health
Hmm.
and you're dead wrong.
Okay.
For example, and then we're gonna move on. I heard a life coach telling someone that um, giving gifts was not a love language, which is totally inaccurate.
I sure hope we talk about that one day too. 'Cause I've been hearing so much about this love language.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into that. Let's. What are we talking about today? What we got going on today?
So I thought for today, I actually, had a lot of interest about our podcast. I mean, people have been, sending emails, texting me left and right. So excited for us to do this thing. And so I actually had a lot of questions that came in related to, answers that people wanted to have. I
Mm.
thought it would be cool if we just did our first podcast with, answering fan questions.
Works for me. Works for me. I'm with it. I'm with it. Am I too comfortable on your show? I'm sorry.
No,
Uh,
I want you to
Okay.
be
All right.
comfortable. I mean, I actually think that that's what makes it work.
Okay. Okay. And I got my
It
feet
goes
up and
along with your
everything. Okay.
personality.
All right.
So,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Well.
be you.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
What's this first question?
Okay,
What we
let's
got?
get to the first question.
I'm ready to talk my ish.
I want to see how he's gonna do. So let's get started. Question one. So the question looks like it was for me, but I really want to pose it so that we both answer it. It says, "Doc, I know you're gonna attract a lot of men, but what makes you, um, or what makes the real ones really stand out?"
Hmm.
I think that's a great question.
Now you just asked that question. Are you posing that to myself and everybody out there in Wonderland, or are you just literally reading from your phone?
So actually, I just literally read it from my phone. But I think how how we can best serve our listeners would be, I think that's actually something that a lot of people deal with. And it's funny enough, the question came from a man, but I would argue that in
Wow.
Atlanta, um, that the question would be in reverse since it's 20 to 1. I think most women try to figure out how do they stand out amongst the 20.
And
You
I
know.
assume that was from a woman. That was
No,
from a
it
man.
was literally,
Wow.
directed at me, specifically saying, "You attract a lot of men, but what makes the real men stand out to me?"
Oh, okay. So I was lost.
So,
It was a
basically, if
man
I
that
got
asked
10
you. He's
people.
asking you from a woman's
Right,
perspective,
right.
though. Okay,
Like, if I have
that's why it
10
sounded
men
like a woman.
trying to talk to me, what would make
Uh,
someone stand out and make me actually wanna, I guess, be interested and move forward?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you have an answer for it, but I don't want to take the easy way out. But I'll be honest with you. When you ask that question, it's almost like case by case basis, right? Everything is going to be different for everyone that you ask that question. Like what sticks out to you from a female perspective may not,
Absolutely.
like I'm the job. It's almost like I love Pop the Balloon. I don't know if you've seen the
I
Pop the
have
Balloon
seen
movie. So I love Pop
possibility.
the Balloon. Not necessarily because it's a great show, just
Just
because
entertaining.
there you go. So, but with that being said, I could be the job. that walk out in front of 10 women, right?
Mhm.
9 of them can pop their balloon because they don't like the jock persona.
Right.
As opposed to I could be that same jock and walk out in a shirt and tie. No one may pop a balloon, but I'm
Yeah.
still a jock.
Right. Right. So good point. How I would actually answer the question probably wouldn't be specific to
Mm-hmm.
me. Right. I would say this. I, we're so busy trying to become a cookie cutter version of ourselves to make it fit. I think that it will serve people more if they were more aware about who they are and what they want,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm not sitting here like kind of talking. I think you and I kind of talked one time about sometimes things feeling like an interview, right? And that's dangerous
Mm-hmm.
because in an interview, the whole point is for me to say what you want to hear so I
Right.
can get the job,
Right.
whether it's true or false. I'm not going to say something that's true that will discredit me from being able to get the job. So, mhm,
I'm gonna say so to the question. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But so to the question, it's almost a question within that question because then it's like even when you meet someone, I use this word. How you know you're not? Which I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, you are meeting their representative.
that's a great
You see what
question.
I'm saying?
Right.
So how do you know? Even though you think you don't pick the right one, but that really was the interview. Like he or she does or say everything that they need to do to get to the next step.
So I'm glad you said that, right? So let's think about it let's use the interview as an analogy, right? So a lot of times, depending on the job, you don't just have one round of interviews, right? You
Hmm.
you normally have like two or three.
Right.
So I think in that first round, just like with anything else, when you first meet someone, you don't know if this person is really who they say they are, or if this person is who they're trying to present themselves to be, so
Hmm.
that you can be attracted to them. I think that as you go forward, second round of interviews, third round of interviews, I, the questions and the conversations have to shift so
Right.
that you can get a better sense of them. For example,
Peeling the layers of the onion back.
so let me give you guys a couple of gems. One question that I think is
Run, you get out my notepad.
I would if I were you. You know, one question I always encourage people to ask is if I'm dating you, I would ask if you were going to give me some advice about yourself, what would it be?
Or you literally asked me that on camera.
Hmm.
Advice about myself. Be open minded. Don't take everything literally
Hmm.
because I have a tendency to speak my mind, which is something I have to work on. Because just because it's on my mind, don't necessarily mean it's the right time for me to say it, right?
Hmm.
So, but to know me is to love me. To love me is to know me, type of thing. So that's
Hmm.
what I would say. Just give me time till you get to actually know everything about. You got to be open minded because I think I'm a little complex.
Yeah. So what I heard you say, to see what'll happen is someone's watching us and they're like, okay, so what does he mean by that? So what I heard you say is being open minded. That sometimes what you say, it could be literal. It could be exactly how you feel. But if I overthink it, then I might actually miss the point of what you're trying to get at.
Yes, 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 yes,
What
yes.
I also heard you say is that you're not gonna always. There's gonna take some time for you to kind of peel back layers
Mhm,
and really get to the heart of you. You're not just
mhm.
gonna come and regurgitate everything about your life in the beginning.
That part, and I would say this right here. It's like I'm like this right here, quintessential. This is putting it in a nutshell, right? I'm this guy. The wife comes to me and say, "Shawty, how I look in this dress? You want Shawty answer, or you want the husband? I love you, and happy wife, happy life answer. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
So it's generally, but when you generally ask me, you don't get the shouted answer because I try to be genuine as
right,
possible all the time.
right.
But once again, that might not be the place and time to be genuine.
I mean, gotcha. I got
Because if you know, I could tell my wife or better half or whatever, I can be shocked and be like, that ain't it. You know what I mean? Like I don't really like the way that looks, but she might like it. That might just tell her now I'm the bad guy.
you. Yeah,
Cause I was being this is what you asked. Now it's like I don't even need to go ask him no more. Like, it ain't gonna always be negative. That's just how it was that time.
right. good answer. How I would answer that question is if I was going to give somebody advice who was trying to date me, I would say I'm not really one of those women who are turned on by your status or what kind of car you drive or how much money you make or what kind of job you have.
That's how y'all always start out saying.
Can't speak for all women, but I can speak for me, right? I am a sapiosexual, which means that I am
Okay.
very much turned on by intellect,
Hmm.
right? That I find it so sexy for someone that I can have a genuine conversation with that supersedes talking about rap music and
Hmm.
cars and clothes, right?
Right.
But something where I walk away and I'm still thinking about you. You gave me food for thought because it's very rare that I'm
Hmm.
not the smartest person in the room. No flex, but it's just true, right? So when I have an opportunity to be in a room with someone and I feel like I can learn from them or him, then that is a huge turn. That's more of a turn on to me than a whole lot of other stuff.
You know where, and I hope I'm not changing subjects or jumping ship, but to me, that's the telltale sign, in my opinion, at least in my experiences, that I know relationships that I have had are going bad. Cause when I can't tell you anything anymore, or you don't listen to anything I say, I know the relationship over.
Mm.
Cause you don't got to. I feel like you don't got to a point. It ain't nothing that I can teach you or tell you.
How do you think it gets to that point though?
I mean, I would. It could be a lot of different factors. It could be not necessarily that you even trying to learn anything anymore. That I can't teach you anything anymore. You might just be sick of me.
No,
You know what I'm
I wasn't
saying?
gonna say it like that. That's how the doc would say it.
But that's the difference.
How
Yeah.
the doc would say it is, I actually would agree with you. I think I would have said it more so when a person no longer respects
Mm,
your thought or your opinion. Then you'll see people who appear to be more combative or
mm-hmm.
argumentative, right? Because what you're saying, I'm just not buying.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that can happen along the course of the relationship to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, that's what it is. Is
Right.
that I just don't really respect
Right.
you like that
Right.
anymore,
So
or
yeah,
I don't trust you, right? So if I don't trust what you're
right.
saying, then I'm not gonna listen to
I think we're saying the same thing,
you.
but
Yeah,
yours just sounded a little bit more eloquent.
I think it's easier to swallow. That's all. Sometimes, sometimes you got to give it to people so that they can actually receive it.
Right, right.
You know.
See, dog, that's what I'm here for. So you can help me, you know what I'm saying, maybe start being a little bit more, help my landings be a little bit more smooth.
Yes,
All right, okay, all right.
absolutely. Listen, if I can do that, y'all, I feel like I can probably fix anybody. If I can help Shawty land the plane a lot smoother, then I'm ready to take this show on the road.
Well, to the question, let me ask you this. So would there be, granted, I think the word you used, cookie cutter, was awesome. There's no one size that fits all, right?
Yeah.
I could have ran with that, but I won't. There's no one size that fits all. But to the question, can there be some basic signs that you can pull out from a room of guys that you talk to and be like, I for sure, just based off the surface of what I'm seeing and getting, I know I would like to move forward. I'm not gonna pop my balloon quite
Yeah. So I think that for most of us, I, you guys are gonna probably get sick of me saying this, but the
yet. Well, don't
more
say it.
the more self aware you are, the better you can be at that, right? The more you really understand you.
Hmm.
For example, if I walk into a room or a man walks into a room and the first thing before he even opens his mouth is I smell his cologne, that is too much. You're doing too much, right? And so I'm already gonna be. I'm not gonna necessarily say I'm turned off, but I will say I'm like, I'm not so sure, right?
I
It,
never heard that from one.
oh yeah, because it's because essentially what it says is that you're really trying to be seen. You got to put on all this cologne. Now,
Not that I just want to smell.
it's a difference between a man walking past and I'm like, oh, he smells
Okay.
good, versus a man who
Oh,
it,
that
it,
just
it just takes up the whole stage, right?
oh, that could be that's a it could be a. I'm just saying it could be a misjudgment of I don't know.
Now, I will say this: if you were talking about my 16-year-old son,
Ah, gotcha,
absolutely,
gotcha,
he actually drowns me and my daughter out every
gotcha.
morning
I
with
got
that, right? But he's just now learning how to
you.
use it.
Right, I got you.
In
I got
at late 30s, 40s, 50s, no sir,
you. We on the
no sir.
same page. I got you.
you're doing too much, right?
Makes sense.
Um, I think, unfortunately, I think some men are really awkward at how they approach women. They just don't know what to say. And if I'm being honest, like that, for most women, that's a turnoff. If you present like you're nervous, I think it depends on how you do it,
Mm.
right? But I've literally had men come up and they're darn near shaking, you know?
So you got to have an aura, a certain sense of confidence, but
Absolutely.
not overconfident.
Yeah. And let me say this, guys, it, and this may not work for everybody, right? But I have actually seen men who, when they're nervous, they will actually just use that, like,
Use what? What you mean?
um, finding a way to even say, they're not that you make me
Oh,
nervous,
so it's
right?
almost advantageous for them to come and say, "Hey, I'm nervous,"
If
but I
you say
really
it
want to
correct,
say something
like,
about
right, like you can't, but you have to be aware of yourself enough to know how you can say that. So it actually can be an icebreaker, you know. And I'll guarantee you, most women probably have heard that before,
it.
that
Hmm.
they've made a man nervous. So it wouldn't be like, it actually would, for me, it would be a sign of like, okay, like he was nervous to come up. Let me make this a little easier for
Mm.
you.
Okay. Okay. I would throw y'all some of my pickup lines, but I ain't gonna do that right
Let us
now.
hear one.
I
Let
ain't,
us
I ain't
hear
gonna.
one. Let me see
Uh,
if it's trash or not.
I don't want nobody stealing my stilo.
Listen,
Well, see, like you, I'm a sapiosexual too. So is that right? Did I say it right?
sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual. Okay. I thought I was keeping PG-13. I'm a sapiosexual
Oh
too.
my god.
So it's just generally when if I approach a woman, I just approach her with something just kind of quirky and that almost make you think for a second.
Like what?
It's not like it's not even really a come on. I don't come on to you until I get the response.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I guess I have to check the meter first. Because if you don't like my icebreaker, I'm probably not gonna move
It's
forward.
funny.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. We just ain't. You ain't my type, no. It ain't. You know what
So
I'm saying?
what's the icebreaker?
Generally, I go off the situation. You know what I'm saying? The environment, depending on what's going on. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
let's say you at the bar.
Okay, if I'm at the bar and I see you right there, I literally come next to you. I sit down and order a drink, right? And I go to the bathroom. I be like, watch my drink. Don't let nobody spit in. Right?
Okay.
All right. So I go to the bathroom and I come back. What's going on? You watch my drink? Yeah, I watch my. That opens up the now it's on and popping.
So let me say this. I actually think that there are going to be a lot of people that's going to think that's and it would be totally different. But I think if we're being totally honest, it is going to land based on whether or not that woman even finds you attractive, or there's got
Oh,
to it's probably got to be more than just that open liner
no, that's it
that
for me.
that
That's it.
actually will, you know what I'm saying? So if there was somebody who looks quirky, kind of dressed a little quirky, maybe I'm not as attracted to, and they say that, I would probably play along, like, yeah, I got you. But we we
But
probably
but again, for me, that's just the icebreaker. Like once again, so if I would have asked that question, he was just kind of like, no, you watch, some shit like you watch, but I look like watching your drink, you watch your own drink, something like that. Then I'll just be like, nah, that ain't. So
do
then,
people do that?
what
Do
you mean?
women do that?
Uh, I mean, I never had it happen, but I don't see why.
But you
Because honestly,
anything's
me, I can see
possible.
myself saying something like that. Yeah, I'm about to leave. I can't watch your drink. You can tell the bartender because I'm literally about to leave or something. I'm not gonna sit. Okay. If I'm, that's why it's to me it's an icebreaker. That's why I find out so much about it because I'm not gonna literally just be sitting at the bar and a female be like, "Hey, I'm going to the bathroom out of my nose. Watch my drink." So I don't even know you like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Ooh,
I,
wait. So how is it that it's okay for you to do?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying depending on my situation. Like if I found her attractive and I wanted to holler at her,
Then you will
if
wait.
I was about to leave or something, I wouldn't leave. I'd be like, okay, I
Gotcha.
got you.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's it's almost like me putting the nugget out there. I didn't want to see how you chew on that nugget
Right.
by the time I come back. If you don't chewed on it, I know you like it. But if by the time I get back and you like, okay, I'm glad you came back. I was about to leave type shit and yada yada yada. Then I just know you weren't feeling me no way. But if you
Mhm.
still there and I come back, check my drink. everything about cool. What's going on? And then I can just kind of move forward.
So her uh being about to leave would dictate interest level. It's like,
Well,
what if she what if by the time you came back she's really about to leave, but does that
no,
always
it wouldn't
mean?
change my interest
No,
level,
I
but
mean her interest level. With how would that show you how interested she is?
well, because if she was about to leave anyway, and I know she's about to leave, then I can say, well, I thought you was maybe attracted, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, that type of thing. And she could also be like, well, I was about to leave, but once we started talking, she ain't went nowhere.
Okay. So let's switch gears a little bit. Not even, but let me give the viewers another question and see how you handle it. So the other question, I think, once you've gotten past that initial stage of meeting each other, and maybe you're on your first date, would be if you could go back and do anything differently about your last relationship. What would
Hold on, hold on. Is this about me? Or we just speaking in general?
you say? you you don't have to answer the question.
No, I'm gonna ask. I just want to know, are we speaking
I
about me
mean,
directly, or this is, or I'm
I'm
just speaking.
saying that that's a real question that I would encourage people to ask.
If I could change something in my past
Well, let me ask you
relationship,
this before you answer it. Why do you think that that would even be a question? What or how do you think that question would help someone get to know someone else?
I mean, I think knowing, well, I won't say anything, but just knowing, things about the past kind of, help you navigate the future, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It gives you insight into, personality, and it just, I always say let the next move be the best move, right?
yeah,
So if I've made mistakes in my past relationships, obviously, which I've had, I mean, let's say all my relationships broke up because of me, but I've obviously had problems.
right.
So, with any previous relationship, I can definitely recall or recite something that I would change to have uh, had a better outcome, or
Right.
even just make myself better moving forward.
Absolutely. And what I would add to that is, so red flag would be someone who says nothing.
Mm,
Like I wouldn't change
no,
anything.
I
And
would
believe
never
it or
change
not,
nothing.
I've actually had people to say nothing, right? Another red flag would be if that individual starts talking about what he or she did, their significant other, right?
Mhm.
And making it seem like it was all them and it wasn't, anything that that person did. What it suggests is that person probably hasn't grown a lot. Because to your point, I think that if in every situation, there's something that we can look back and say
Mhm.
we could do something differently,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if you really don't have the capability of doing that, then I'm not so sure that you're dateable at this point, right? Because how do you evolve and get better if you are set on the fact that you did everything right and you would actually do it the exact same way going forward?
So it's funny you said that, and I hope I don't start a gender war here. Uh, but
Uh,
what you saying, I'm gonna be honest with you. I come to find out, just from my opinion and experiences, you know, women have a hard time accepting accountability,
hmm,
specifically in relationships.
hmm.
It's generally always the male's problem or male's issue why they like women have a hard time accepting accountability. Especially, I don't know if it's because, I think the more independent a woman is, the harder they have accepting accountability.
I've heard that a lot, right? And I I've thought about it. What I would say, and I could be wrong, right? I haven't talked to every woman in the world. What I wonder though is it that women have a hard time accepting accountability, or is it that she has a difficult time being vulnerable in front of the man who either she's trying to date or was dating? Because when you talk to our like my friend group. My friend group are gonna tell me that, we're gonna talk about any and everything, no matter how bad it was. Like I'm talking about
Y'all ain't doing them a male bash.
no, 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 no. I'll give you an example. For example, if they try some new sexual position, they're gonna come back and give us all the blue and all all the things that went wrong, right? So that we can probably try to help,
But I'm
kind of
talking about,
massage that
do
through.
y'all come to each other in a situation where you guys are in a relationship and be like, you know what? Can I curse on you? I don't know if I can curse. I
Yes,
don't know.
be you, Doc.
I don't know. You might want to be monetized or something. I don't know.
You can still be
But I
monetized
messed
on
up.
us.
Basically, Doc, I messed up. You know what? I notice I'm using.
Mhm.
I should not have done that.
Mhm.
I probably should have. I don't never hear women say that. Never.
But that's my point to you is that as a, a man, you may not, right? But if my friends come to
But
me,
you want the man to take accountability.
I think this is why it's so important for people to be careful about the company they keep. Because
Mm.
if you're around a whole bunch of people that don't challenge you in any way, then I'm
Iron
not so
sharpens
sure
iron.
you know how to grow. And I'll say for me, I think my friends have a unique situation where because I am a psychologist. But what I do say is like, okay, how are we starting this conversation? You want Sandy or you want Dr. Govan?
Now you sound like me.
Because it's you know what I'm saying, like Sandy has a whole different perspective sometimes, right? And so most times, of course, they want Dr. G, right?
So who
Because
it is right now?
huh?
Who I'm talking to
You
right now?
talking to Dr. G right now.
Okay.
But Sandy is a little quirky, right? She grew up in Decatur and she was born in Chicago,
Do
so
you
she
go
can be a
in
little
and out?
ratchet sometimes.
Or you always
I
one,
You
always the
can
other?
always ask me who I'm talking to, and I'll let you know. Because what I've been told is I come in and out, and I don't even
That
realize that I
that's
do
what
it.
I'm trying to find out. That's what I'm trying.
But what I'm saying is, I am that friend that will listen to everything you have to say, and then I'm gonna push back on it because my thing is this: we can sit here and talk about him all day long, but I'm not so sure how that helps you, right? You can only change you, and I've been doing this long enough to know that most situations is not just one sided. It's never just
No,
one
never one
person.
sided.
You both played a part in it, even when you can't see the part you play. You both play a part in it.
And that's be my issue, especially with a relationship that I was in. You know, I know I'm a hard. I have a hard person. I can be hard. I had never been in a situation where this lady just refused to think that she had any any misstep, anything. I had never seen this before.
I would say this, and I don't know the young lady. I'm going to speak in general.
But
When
she's
I
not a young lady, grown lady.
the 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 the, the woman, right?
I'm just being
I
asked.
would say that when I hear that, the first thing that comes to mind is someone who probably has self confidence and self esteem issues, right? Because you got to understand when a person has a hard time, receiving feedback or even accepting responsibility, that's about ego, right?
Mm,
I have to keep this persona, to keep this like uh, whatever it is, bravado, because I can't let you get to me. Part of that is because my ego is really, really fragile because I don't know how to recover sometimes from doing something wrong. If you think about some of the strongest people you know in your life, those are normally the people that can take feedback really well.
mhm.
And people who can't, normally, they have a very fragile ego.
It's interesting you say that because thinking back on it, there were definitely a few incidents that happened in their life actually prior to me meeting them, and those situations that happened were very seen in a negative light, and they refused to let anybody know that they had happened, right? Because they want to always be seen as this certain person, yada yada
Got
yada
it
yada
all
yada.
together.
Right.
I'm straight, right?
So it's interesting that you say that. I don't want to say that's a total diagnosis. I would.
I don't,
No,
no,
I just
yeah.
want to.
But it's not. So what I would say is, it's not always a diagnosis, but it could be a symptom, right? So
Right.
that's the thing when we talk about diagnoses. I think we all got symptoms, if you ask me,
Right.
all of us.
No.
But it doesn't always mean that I got a diagnosis. I would also add that sometimes when you see people that are have a really hard time, or try to push back when you're giving them some
Mhm.
type of negative feedback, trauma, right? So in their past, if there's been some type of traumatic events that have occurred, if they were in a relationship that may have been verbally, physically, or mentally abusive,
Mhm.
sometimes they go the whole opposite way and they take the stand where I'm never gonna let anyone ever,
Right.
because
No,
the
I get
way
it.
in which they hear you giving feedback isn't always from the standpoint of he is actually trying to help me.
Right. Right.
They hear it like he's trying to tear me down, and so
Hmm.
I'm going to overcorrect, and now I'm not even going to hear you because I'm never going to let someone do that to me again.
No, I got you. I was just trying to say it in a certain way where if the the lady were to ever watch the show, I didn't want her to think that we have to sit here and
Oh, absolutely not.
diagnose her with some kind of. But no, I was just saying that was definitely a symptom of some things that were very relatable to what you said had happened. To me, that stuck out,
And
and it
so
made
hold
a lot of
on,
sense.
because I'm not gonna let you off the hook.
Correct. Like, first of all, I
Because
ain't never on the hook.
because because this
I can always
because
wiggle
this
off
is
that
how
thing.
Dr. G works. Anybody who's ever been my client, they'll tell you, you gonna have to put on your big boy pants to sit in my office, right?
I'm the only
Because
kind
what
I
I would
will.
also say is, although man or woman, that could be a sign of someone who has a really fragile ego. I would also say that you have to take a look at, do you create an environment where people feel emotionally safe to be vulnerable, because sometimes we don't even realize that the energy that we exude doesn't make my partner feel really safe to open up to me, right? And sometimes it's things that we just do naturally, we don't even realize it, right? People are so judgy. And everybody wants to say have an open mind, and everybody wants to say, oh, I'm so, I don't judge anybody. But the truth is we judge people subtly by sometimes by our facial expressions or our body
Hmm.
language, or sometimes, like, for example, like, why the hell would you do that? Right? That's a judgment.
Right.
And sometimes we say it so quick, we don't even realize it, right? But when you think about the impact that just that question alone could have on somebody, it could possibly make a person retreat and not necessarily want to open up to you.
No, I'm
So
with you.
we so it goes both ways, right? So you have a partner that may have a fragile ego, but you also may have a partner who doesn't do the best job of making the environment emotionally safe to open up.
Okay. Once again, I'm not off the hook. I'm really never on the hook. I'm like I said, I'm a fish. I can wiggle off that thing anytime. And I don't wear nothing but big boy pants. Uh,
But my hope is that you hear what I'm saying and
yes,
you take it to
yes.
heart.
I'm gonna let you know exactly. I heard what you said because I'm gonna answer your question this way. To your point, I definitely have some of those symptoms that you just said because my personality is so strong sometimes, so overwhelming. It do make people feel. I've heard people in past relationships, like I've dealt with women who are in very strong and powerful positions, but when it comes to me, they have a hard time communicating. And it's like you talk to people every day, all day. Say you run these ships, you run these business, but it's just because of who I am and the way that I come off, and my background or whatever it may be. Yeah, I think you make a good point. I think I can make the environment sometimes make it feel emotionally unsafe for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Maybe I can come out being too judgmental. I don't even know if it's being too judgmental. It's just sometimes, oof, I'm gonna telling myself something. But no, I just think I'm so straightforward. Sometimes I gotta find that. I gotta find that. I gotta be a little bit. I gotta be able to caress.
And what I would encourage you to think about is so- something I call the both and, right?
The who?
Sometimes we think about something either being this way or that.
What you call it? The
The
both
both and. So
and.
both and. So I can be both direct
Mm-hmm.
and really genuine in what I say to you, and I can find a way to do it so that you understand that I still love you and I support you, right?
Compassion side.
Right. So there is a
So it's
balance
like a three
between,
side.
like, right. So I don't have to change necessarily. So what I said is what I said, right?
Hmm.
And I read somewhere that before you deliver any type of negative feedback, that it would require someone to give someone at least five compliments or five things that they did really well for every one negative feedback that they're going to present,
Hmm.
because it helps people to hear it well. So if I know that despite whatever you're delivering to me, that there are so many other things that you think that I do really, really well, then it's easier for me to hear whatever this negative feedback is. But if most of the time the feedback that I get is only in a corrective standpoint, right? We don't want to say negative,
Right.
but it's something where you're giving me feedback about something that maybe I need to correct. It makes it a whole lot harder for me to receive it, and thus now now I'm defensive, I'm protective, right? And that doesn't mean that you don't think those things about me. Yet, if I very rarely hear you say them, then the way the brain works, it
Mhm.
automatically goes into protect mode. So, so that's part of how you can make an environment emotionally safe is making sure that for just as much as you're giving me corrective feedback, that you also give me feedback to let me know, you know, what what you love about me or what you like about me
Right.
or admire. And we don't always do the both and.
And I agree with you 100%. Literally, like when you say, no, these are things that have been brought up before. So yeah, yeah, I have no quarrel, no
So my
quarrel with
question is,
what
and
you
maybe
said.
we can tailor it for a different day, is if you've heard it before, what stops you from doing it?
No,
But
I'm saying just throughout time.
okay,
Not that it happens in every day. I'm just
right.
like some of the things that I can
As yeah,
like each. I can go through maybe because I've only had maybe I don't know how this came about me, but it's probably gonna be like this every show.
oh
But
yeah.
and which is fine. I probably had only 4 relationships throughout my whole. No, that's not maybe 3. Yeah, 3 relationships throughout my whole life,
Hmm.
and I can just pick uh out of each one of those relationships, I can pick something that you have said that correlates or relates
So
to my personality or mishaps in each one of those relationships. I'm
gotcha.
not saying it was all happening each one.
Yeah.
It was like, nah, this happened with her.
Oh,
Okay, I can see that happened with
she
that
said
one. You know what
that.
I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I got you. So that let's take Scotty out the hot seat a little bit.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Um, Next question:
I'm good.
what advice would you give a
Let
person?
me ask you this
Yes,
before
sir.
we move on, because we have hit 2 topics, and I
Hmm.
tried to cap the first one off. So did we answer the first question in totality, just for the young man, if he's viewing or ever watched the show, about how we can pick out a man or woman out of
Hmm.
a field? Did we answer that in totality? I don't know if we
Or
did.
what would be, I guess, what would set somebody apart from
Right,
all the other men? And I think, to sum it up to your point, everybody's different. So it's hard. Like I can answer that question for Dr. Govan, but it doesn't mean that Susie and Sally are going to agree,
right.
right? So I think that I probably have shied away from giving a more pointed answer because I'm not so sure how helpful that would be to him or anybody else listening for me to just tell you what that looks like for me. Unless this person was actually trying to date me, I'm not so sure how that helps if he's going to go out and approach Teresa or Stephanie. What I will say is this: I think that again, I would encourage people to be very clear about what it is they want. What it is they're looking for. I think that when two people connect and they have chemistry and um, that they have similar interests, just allowing things to organically
Hmm.
evolve, right? Too many times we're trying to manufacture something. Sometimes that's what these questions feel like. That you're sitting here trying to kind of, you know, mix and mingle so that I can get it just right. And I don't think that dating is something that you can really manufacture. And I really wouldn't encourage people to go out here and do the same for everybody. It just doesn't work like that.
So I'm gonna give that young man, a grown man. I'm gonna tell you what the jock would say this. Hey man, like somebody who like you. That's how you move forward. If they like you like them, and you find out you don't like them at some other point.
So
Don't go after the person you like. It never works out. Think about it.
wait a minute. So
Just
hold
think
on,
about it.
because there's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna say, the Jack told me that I shouldn't try to go up to somebody that I really
The
like.
jock did
That
say
I
that.
that I should only talk to people who like me, even if I don't like them back.
If you're gonna go, okay, let me clarify that because the doc throwing me under the bus here. Let me clarify that.
Hey,
So what I'm getting at is this right here, doc. Just look at the probability. Just go out through your life, any young man or any young lady. Just go out through your life and look at the past relationship. Generally, the guys or women that you like, just out of we just talking about now. We're not talking about down. We just talking about how you pick that person out, like amongst 4 or 5 guys, right? Right.
mhm.
So what I'm getting at, just in the beginning, the first interview stage, go after the person who want the job. Don't go try to hire somebody who you think is a great candidate. Meaning, don't go holler at the girl who you think you might like because she. Go after the person who don't came and asked you about the job who hired. Go after that person who may have came up to you and thought you were attractive. Go after them people.
So
You got a better chance with them people.
I would add this. You know, I think at a very high level, I somewhat agree with what that is saying. What I would say though is
Don't use my government name.
it,
I'm just playing.
it needs. I would say that it's important for energy to be mutual, right? Um, so even if she's not the one that is showing interest in the job initially, right? How you approach her will tell you everything you need to know. Because when a woman is interested in you, there are telltale signs that she's going to show that lets you know that she's interested, right? Most women, when they're interested, we have a tendency to smile a lot more as you're talking, even if ain't nothing you saying really funny.
Mm.
We we'll chuckle.
Y'all tricking us off the muscle.
Well, no,
I'm just
I'm
all
giving
right.
you some cheat codes, right? So we're probably gonna smile a whole lot more. You know, women who are interested typically will find a way to touch you, while you're talking, even if it's just
Me too, Errol.
I
I'm
said,
just saying. I'm just saying. I'm
wait a
just
minute,
saying.
Lord help me. So
So
touch,
I don't mean to cut you off.
touching meaning she may brush up against your shoulder,
Okay, that's
right?
what I'm saying. What happened when let me ask you this. And I don't even want to change the subject. So called I don't be wanting be misreading anything wrong. Cause this with the doc told Shouty.
I didn't tell Shawty to go grab nobody.
I'm talking about so what happened when the lady come and gives you the hug and just go down the spine of your back.
I mean, that could be a lot of things. That's
Okay.
like
Is
you
that just
want me to
standard? Is that standard?
generalize it?
That's what I'm saying. You saying because if she touching me like that, first of all, let me say this. I'm just being funny
I
because of
know
what,
you want.
what you just did to me when you were saying.
So what I
T-
will say about a hug, right?
okay.
What I will say, please qualify it to mean that the, there's different levels of comfort, right? So
Hmm.
if I'm just meeting you, like that's gonna be different. What I will say is I would encourage men, and ladies back me up on this in the comments. When a man who we're really attracted to and embraces us, if a man is paying attention, you'll notice that there'll be this subtle way that she kind of relieve, like it's almost like an exhale. Like, she's just like, whew, like it's almost like he's grabbing me and he got me type situation. And sometimes most men don't even pay attention because you don't even know that that's something.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I might be getting hugged and be dropping the ball. It might be slip like I might be getting all kind
Because
of hugs. And
you're looking for something else, right?
I no,
Or
no, I just don't be looking.
or like I'm almost I know someone, a man who, for some reason, I can't understand for the life of me why he does this. But on dates, he'll give a woman a hug and then squeeze her butt. And
No, that's something different. Now.
I had to tell
That's
him
something
like,
different.
you gotta stop doing
I mean, like
that.
somebody he don't know, no,
I
really.
mean, like they went out on a date. It might even be their first date, second date, and you like y'all leaving the date, and he hug her and he grab her butt, and I'm like,
Maybe the date went well.
bruh,
He must have knew the date went well.
nah. Even if it did, you still just cannot
No, I'm with you.
assume
I'm with
that she's at that point with
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
you.
I'm
Because if
with you. I'm with
nothing else, she could have thought the date went wonderful, and
you. Mhm.
that becomes the deal breaker. And then I don't ever want to talk to you again.
So, and the reason I asked this, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just a straight shooter. I can't help it. And the reason I asked this is because it's this lady. She's I almost said her name. She got to be 70, maybe two, right?
Okay.
And she wanted her daughter to date, right?
Mhm.
Her daughter just recently passed that,
Mm.
but she just always said she wanted her daughter to date. Her and her daughter, her and her daughter and I are about the same age. Anyway, make a long story short, she want her daughter to date me because I know 100% she like it, right? So that's why I asked about stuff because every time she hugs me, she's just like this. It's that kind. It ain't the, it's just kind of a little something. I'm like, what is, I almost feel,
Violated.
violated. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
She
saying?
might
So
have. She might.
so
You know.
it's like just in it don't bother me, dog, 'cause
Nah,
I'm not,
Granny
but
just trying
just
to get a groove on.
right, and I get it in all fairness. So what I'm saying, like generally when I hug people or do things like that, I don't. I'm so naive to certain part. I like to think that I may be about a lot of things. I'm very naive
I
uh,
I
to about
think, and I hate to make general statements. I think that men, I'll say, are not as um, aware about stuff. You guys,
especially when it comes to like some of the things
like
you
y'all
guys.
y'all missed it. I mean, it
Yeah.
went way over your head. You missed it. Totally missed it.
So and it's just our first show. We got so much to talk about. Just another experience that I had when it come to that. I the field that I work in is predominantly women, right?
Mhm.
So I was in a situation. I was doing social work at uh in the school system, and uh the principal told me, she was like, I don't want you to never be alone or be in a room with this lady right here, this certain teacher, right? I just don't want. She knew she liked me or something. Obviously, not like I said. I just never worked with the lady for a year or two. Just never. To me, I was just like, because I was very naive. So make a long story short, she's like, never do this, blah blah blah. Anyway, make a long story short, something happened with the lady. She ended up getting fired, and she said that I inappropriately touched her one day,
Mhm.
right? And she had a witness, but my inappropriate touching her was I put my hand on her shoulder because she was uh the situation that happened with her and the parent. Something had happened, and I went into the classroom. And I was like, "You
Trying to,
okay?
yeah,
Like, everything you good?"
right.
But she told the people that I had, it was just luckily that the other
Somebody else was there.
teacher that was in there, she saw it, and but anyways. But the fact that I'm getting at it, I never knew the lady liked me.
Mhm.
After interacting with her, I guess her flirting and yada yada. But the principal had told me this a year ago.
And what I would add, and I don't know this to be true, I could be wrong. When I listen to that story, I wonder if the principal also has seen other tendencies of this teacher
No,
that,
she was new. She
okay,
There was a new teacher.
brand
Yeah, I
new, had only
started.
been there, had just started.
Yeah, she was. I think I was there maybe 2 years. She was only there maybe 8 months, something like that.
Because what I would say is, uh, just based on what you said, that doesn't quite add up. Like if she's liking you, then why would she? Unless you reject her, right?
Mm-mm.
Then why would she come back and say you inappropriate? Makes no sense. As opposed to someone that. So I've seen a lot of people who have only been on the job 4 months, right? But
Hmm.
you can start to pick up on things about this individual in terms of how they relate to people, right?
Well, I think that, well, I didn't want to get too deep into it, but that part came about because it was reported to me that she was using prescription drugs,
Hmm.
right? And I kind of reported that, yeah, I saw her in the parking lot.
Hmm.
So
So
that's
she
what that came,
tried to come back
right. So
for
that's
her.
where that came from. I just didn't go into detail, but that's where that came
Yeah,
from.
yeah. Are we good on that question? You feel like you helped them?
Yeah, man, like the ones that like you, bro.
Like.
Go after the ones that like
I
you.
say make sure that you have mutual and I think that there are ways
But
that
you
you can.
don't know, you don't ever know if you have mutual interest until someone make the first step.
Right.
Right.
Like that's. I'm not so
So
sure
what I'm
what the point of that statement is because that's a given. Like we
no
both can't stand here.
my point in making that statement
Hmm.
is this right here. Go back to what I said. If you go off the probability of the times and chances that you went and talked to somebody that you think you may like, that generally from a probability, it hasn't worked out.
For you talking about for men?
Man, I went
Because
women.
I can't speak for everybody. I will say that I'm very old school. Now, what that looks like is I will flirt with you. I will probably send some type of sign that says that she she may be interested, right? But if you're waiting on me to actually approach a man, I'm not gonna say ever.
Mhm.
Anything is possible. It's just probably not probable.
Understandable.
So if
But
that
if
is
you,
the criteria for whether or not a woman is interested, then you're gonna miss the mark sometimes.
okay, Doc. once again, I don't want to be so analytical.
No,
But what
but
I'm
how
getting
do
at,
you tell someone to go after the woman that likes
because
you?
of what you just said, like if a woman is
That's
hitting,
life.
what I'm saying, if a woman is hitting on you, whether you know it or not, right? You may not know this, but she's at least engaged in some kind of conversation. What I'm saying is that's the one you're gonna have a better chance with. Cause guess what? Whether you know it or not, he already like you.
So let me say
Hold
this.
on, let me finish. Cause you, I don't think you understand where I'm coming from. Cause what I'm saying is, if she's giving off that vibe, to your point, that vibe, that's when you reciprocate or you go after her. What I'm saying is, your probability goes down, or it is what it is when you just off the muscle, whether she likes you or not, and you just go shoot your pistol.
Mhm.
I'm just saying you have a better chance if she has shot her in some kind of form of fashion that you know she likes you. Your chances are better at finishing with her than you just shooting at her blank.
I'm gonna say this and we can move on. It the way I'm hearing it, and maybe I'm not hearing it right, and we can process it another time. But the way I'm hearing it, I would feel some type of way ab- about a man who takes your direction, because what I would feel like is you didn't like me. You're you're only entertaining me because you think I like you, and that's problematic.
No, you can say the same thing about a woman. You can say the same thing about a woman. Yeah, I can literally say here, well, you never say nothing to me. You never showed me no signs. So why would I say something to you? Like, why do that's a whole nother subject. Why do the man you say you old school? I get it. So you telling me is you're not telling me. This is an example. I'm sorry. This is an example. So if you were to like me as a person,
Mhm.
you really like me, think you really may like me. But if I don't say nothing to you, you ain't gonna shoot your pistol at me.
Um,
That's what you're saying.
I think it depends on how you define shooting your pistol, right? Are
If I don't pick up what you putting down.
if you're if and I'm gonna be specific. If you are waiting on me to walk up to you and say, "Let me buy you a drink," or come up with some type of catchphrase, probably not.
Right, that's what I'm
If
saying.
if what it may look like is it may look like me walking, standing next to you, and doing something to get your attention.
Now we speak. We saying the same thing.
No,
But once if you
but
do that to me, Doc, get what?
well,
It's more likely that I'm gonna reciprocate and shoot my pistol at you, cause now I feel more. Cause get what? I know. I not necessarily I know, but I think you like me.
right.
So right.
But don't make it seem like you're only shooting your shot at me, not because you're really interested, but because I'm interested in you.
I see what you're saying. I see what
That
you're saying.
that's what I was saying. I don't want that to be the
No, I
message.
think that's a
Like,
yeah. I think
because a
that's a
lot of women will have a problem with that. Like, oh, so
no, no, no,
you
no,
didn't really you
no,
weren't
no,
really interested in me. You just knew that you could get me because I was
no,
in
no, 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 no,
no,
no, no.
like that's how it comes off.
Oh no, no, I think that's how you maybe took it. Cause that's what I'm
You
saying.
said like the people that like you. So you're not saying you actually said don't go after the people you like.
Well, I didn't mean to come off on that, there, Doc. Cause what I'm saying, we saying the same thing. That's just like from a male's perspective. You only saying something to me because I said something to you.
Maybe. Because I'll tell you, let me say this. No, but let me say this. Because I get approached a lot. That doesn't mean that just because you said something to me, that this is going to go anywhere.
I know. I'm just
So
saying,
so it's
but you try.
not that I'm only saying something to you because you said something to me. You just initiated the conversation. I'm gonna keep it going. But if I'm not interested, I'm probably not. Two different
I got you.
things.
No, Doc, I'm just saying, just once again, we don't want to get on this our first show. Y'all see where it's going. This, y'all see where it's going. No, I'm just saying,
But
but
this is
like,
real stuff that people are dealing with out
right, right.
there.
So no, I'm just saying, like, when I said you basic from a theory standpoint, then when I put it back to you, then we can have this kind of flexibility. We can do this. No, it's the same. It's literally this. It's like you're doing a double standard.
How is that a double
Cause you
standard?
basically saying you are old school, right? You're old school. If you're waiting on me to come buy you a drink and initiate a relationship type of conversation, that's generally not gonna happen, right?
Uh, not. the initiation of it, right?
Right.
But what will happen is if you come over and I would even say even if you don't necessarily initiate a relationship conversation, but a conversation ensues, if I'm interested, you're gonna know I'm in.
No, I'm saying the
But
same
I may
thing.
not be the one to take the steps to come to you. Is
All
all I'm saying.
all I'm saying is if a woman, I'm saying the same thing you saying. I'm just flipping the script. If a woman comes says something to me based on what she said, I'm gonna let her know if I'm interested in her.
We're gonna have a whole show on masculine energy and feminine energy. Because I'm gonna tell you this.
No, you.
I'm gonna be real honest. I done had it up to here with this sophomore era.
So
I'm
what
be
the hell
real
has nothing to
honest.
do with men?
It
So if you
do
like,
if y'all because how I hear that y'all sit back waiting on us to come, bestow our blessings on
I'm not saying
y'all. Like
no, no.
what
See
is
now,
this?
see how it don't turn, see how it don't turn
Like, come on,
sexist.
man. What
All
happened to the days of a man actually coming to a woman and initiating a
it
conversation?
no one said that has gone by. All I'm bringing to
No,
you,
a lot of people have said that
I'm
though.
just talking about in general. I'm just talking about what we're specifically talking about. All I'm saying is if the roles are reversed. I'm saying it shouldn't be. All I'm saying is it shouldn't be a double standard. Like if you like, I'm a male, and it's gonna be easy for me to say that because I'm a male. But if I see a woman who I generally think I want to, I'm gonna go talk to her. All I'm saying is vice versa. If you're a woman and you see a man, it shouldn't be no different. Because what I'm getting at is you may feel that way and he may feel that way too, but he may not just be as out. I mean, I don't know what his situation may be. All I'm saying is you would rather lose out or miss the opportunity. I don't want to say lose out because you never had it. But I'm just saying you would possibly lose out on the relationship or meeting that person because you basing it off gender roles on how the male's supposed to come to you.
What I said to you was, if I'm in my feminine energy, it's not going to look the same as masculine energy.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to approach you and say, "Hey, can I buy you a
Yeah, they
drink?"
ain't saying come
Like
on
to
there with your
me,
wallet out and all that kind of stuff.
the way in which it would look is still going to be, it would probably be more subtle, right?
No, we saying
No,
the same thing.
but no, what you said, the way you say it, and the way I've heard a lot of men say it, it's almost like you all want women to
No,
be in this masculine energy type situation. You want us to take charge. You want us to
no,
approach y'all. We got to
no,
pay for the first date. We got to buy
no. I
y'all a
ain't saying
drink.
none of that.
You
I
know, do
literally
y'all
all
want us to bring y'all flowers and candy when we get
I,
there too?
I
I
ain't
mean,
saying
are we
none of that.
opening doors for y'all
You
too?
can, but I ain't
Like,
saying none of that.
like, what are we doing?
I'm speaking from the standpoint of this is all, and that's why so it goes back to you saying earlier. Like I'm saying it, like what I'm saying is literally what I'm saying. It's not to overthink. All I'm literally saying is this right here. Whether I'm a male or a female, me personally, I'm not gonna miss out on the opportunity of what I think the gender should do. If the dishes are in the sink and they're dirty, I know I'm changing things.
Totally different.
But I'm basing it off gender roles.
Totally
That's what I'm saying. Totally different. But I'm just trying to base
Because
it from
there's
a
no rejection washing the dishes.
right.
It's a
And
lot
that's
different.
but I'm saying in that standpoint, but certain people, and the matter of fact, I can tell you my own household. Growing up as a child, my dad gonna let you know you don't put your hands in no dishwater. My mom is a third generation of housemaker, housekeeper. So they come from generation. That's what men don't wash dishes. But I'm totally different. If dishes are in the sink and they dirty, I don't care who washes them, whether it be me, the sister, the mama, they need to be washed. So just from that standpoint of meaning getting it done, it needs to be done. I don't care who does it. That's all I mean
Yeah.
from the standpoint in terms of men and women saying things to each other. I'm not gonna let an opportunity pass by because I'm a male. I don't
If she's not approaching you, that doesn't necessarily mean she's not in. That's
right saying the same thing.
okay.
And as a male, because I don't approach you, don't mean I'm not interested. That's what I'm
Maybe
saying. It goes both ways. Like I could be interested in you and not say nothing because I may not have the machismo, I may not have the whatever you want to call inside my personality, right? And I may like it, but just don't have it. but you can have everything that I don't have. But you waiting for me to, you waiting for this. I'm gonna use your word. You waiting for this masculine energy to come out of me that I may not have,
And I'm glad you said that. Because you know what I would say? And we're probably not compatible.
which is
Because
understandable.
because there is a woman out there that, will balance you out. So yin and yang, right? So you may have a lot of great things on, but that may just be one thing that just does not do.
Mhm.
And your mate would probably be the one that can balance that out, and vice versa.
And that's where
And
we
that's
we
and
never
that's
know.
really how you have to,
I,
kind of.
I, I,
I would say this. I think when people say, you attract energy, I think that's how you know, right?
mm,
Like I think that I still think that it organically happens. I think that from my experience, the men that are a little more alpha male, because there's a beta male, right? And I don't really, I'll run over a beta male. I know myself, right? So I need an alpha male,
I don't really get
and
it. But I know
but
where you're going with it, but I just
but I think someone who is a beta male needs an alpha woman, right? So I think that it kind of balances itself out. But that's a topic for another day.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting, man. When yeah, I still I see a double standard here, but I get what you're
You
saying.
see a double
I
standard.
do, but I totally it could be double standard slash generation. You know what I mean? It could be a little bit of both. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And I totally get what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's like certain things are expected. Certain things have been a certain way for so long. It's like we just have certain expectations. And I'm just of a person, and that probably be, you know, part of my issue is I'm just so much of a balanced person. I just don't really see like roles. Certain things I do, but a lot of things I don't. I ain't gonna be like, Doc, don't rotate my tire.
No,
I'm not gonna be like that.
no,
You know
but
what I'm
sorry,
saying?
let's be real. I'm glad you said that. One, when you said something of being generational, what's interesting is, you know, people like my grandmother would always say that the man is supposed to be more into you than you are into him, right? So that actually is historic, and that's
Ooh,
something that gets passed down. Two,
that can be
um,
scary now.
you know, two, I forgot my second point, but I think that you're right, that there are things that are generational. I think that there are messages that have been passed
Hmm.
down. And I think that shapes how we our point of view on things and what our comfort levels are. And I do think that I don't know, you guys call them double standards, that's what that was my second point. What I also know about men is you guys innately are wired for the chase.
Mm,
Whether you agree or not, it's biological. You guys are innately wired for the chase.
really?
Yes,
Do we have enough time?
we
Like
do
what?
not, but we
What?
can we can
I
always make
need to
this a
know what you
topic,
mean
right?
by wired by the for the
So
chase.
you guys, it's like the cat and mouse, right? It you guys love the chase.
Mm,
Most men, whether they realize it or not, when when something is easy, it's not challenging.
I see your
And
point.
and, and
Okay,
then once I got it, it
I
ain't
got
it ain't as appealing anymore, right? So if a woman is coming up to you and making women ask me all the time, it's like you're not giving this man any, you're not allowing him to really be in his biological element, which
you.
means somehow he needs to chase you now. You can't be running so fast that he can't catch you because then he's gonna lose interest.
Right.
But you have to make it just so much that it continues to pique his interest to want to get to know you a little bit, and you got to give him something to let him know that you want to be caught. But you can't just be standing there because that is not fun. Now
Mm.
you can agree or you can disagree, but what I know is that is a fact.
No, I'm saying
So
that's
when
interesting.
we tell people that these women should be going to do X, Y, and Z, cool. I mean, I'm all for progression and do what you please and what makes you feel good. But understand this: that
I'm tired of chasing. Oh, sorry. Go
there are some men that may say that. There are a lot of men out there that, if they're being honest, because behind closed doors in my office, they're gonna tell me, "Doc, she too easy."
ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there, if I know that I ain't got to put in no effort, I'm not. I heard
Mm-hmm.
somebody say, if the bar is set right here,
Mm-hmm.
why would I jump up here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that. That makes no sense. I'm not going to exert more energy than it actually takes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
again, you have to consider that when we talk about, what direction we're giving people as it relates to dating.
And I also think we're also, to your point, I agree with you 100%. But what I would say is this, and once again, it goes back to what I said earlier. We're also like now we're talking about extremes. Like you went to one extreme end of the spectrum.
Is it?
Yeah, like who? No, I don't think. Well, I don't want to say no one because once again, that'll tie into what you want me
Mm,
to say.
I,
but I would say this. I would just think in most cases. So what you're saying is right. You won't once again go back to my. Would I go back to that whole kind of what's the word I use like
balance.
balance thing, right?
Hmm.
You want to have that little bit of that pull and no. So
Hmm.
what you're saying, I totally get it. But what I meant by going to the other end of the spectrum is when you got that male or female that you can just say anything to and do anything, you just kind of run over them type thing. It's,
Hmm.
yeah, that definitely becomes a point where that person is no longer really attracted to you. They just with you for what they can get out of you and have you do for them. But once again, to my point, that's another end of the
It
spectrum.
is, and
I'm
I
not
and I
talking
that's
about
not what
that,
I meant.
but that's for
Yeah,
clarity
yeah.
for everyone. I think when you said that, I guess I took it as maybe you said it for clarity for everyone to understand.
To
Maybe.
understand that
Gotcha.
there is a masculine energy, a feminine energy that on some levels I think it's out of balance in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
and I think that a big part of the issue in our dating game these days is because things are they're out of whack,
Mhm.
right? And I think that again, when you're in Atlanta and there's 20 women to every one man, it makes it easy for a man to not have to try so hard. But if you were being honest with yourself, you ain't got to answer. It
Atlanta, a whole different story, but yeah.
Most men when it ain't when they don't really have to put forth a whole lot of effort, you're gonna see that energy return.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
So
with you. I'm with
that's part of it. When you got, 6, 8 women throwing themselves at you,
you. Hmm.
they don't really have to, put forth a lot of effort. And what I see a lot of women is they're doing things out of order, and it's not really working.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You actually worded that a little bit better than I could have worded because I probably would have said something else. Uh, but no, 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 no. I'm with you on that. I think what you said makes a lot of sense. Uh, and I just keep going back to that balance. Everything just has to have a balance. Whether it be I'm doing the chasing, you doing the chasing, running. Like you said, it has to be that energy has to be kind of, you know what I'm saying. It has to be somewhere reciprocal on both sides. So, yeah, no disagreements with me, but we definitely need to have another conversation about this double standard thing. At least that's the word that I'm using, and we'll talk about that again because that's interesting to me. I've always had I don't want to say issue, but I just always thought that was interesting because I just come from a standpoint again, and maybe this be me being very independent. When things need to be done, I don't care who do it. I'm gonna get it done. Whether it's a male role, female role, and that goes across all spectrums. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Cooking, cleaning.
I don't disagree with you.
So yeah.
When it comes to gender roles in the house, I I think that things have totally evolved today.
Hmm.
That to do the things the way I never know my grandmother to ever have a job. She's always been a housewife, right? And my
Hmm.
granddaddy's always been the person that worked, provided financially, and all this other stuff. So they're like the clear picture I know of gender roles. Yet that's not how things are today.
Right.
Most women are out there working,
Hmm.
as are the men, right? So
Hmm.
then it would be, I think it would be really ridiculous for us to think that
Hmm.
with both of us working 8, 10 hours a day, that these gender roles of old would actually hold true today.
Right.
That's what messes up a lot of marriages.
And I'm glad you said that once again. This will probably be for another show too. And for everybody out there, this is our first show, man. So we're trying to get things together here, find our balance, find our reciprocal energy and all that good stuff. So man, hopefully y'all have enjoyed this show. I don't want to steal the Doc's thunder. I just want to say this last thing before we get out of here and she closes us out. Is that's why I'm so big on equality in a relationship, no matter in what form that it comes, whether it be financially, physically, whatever it comes, because when you don't have that balance, I think that's where it ruin relationship because then when you don't have balance, that one person, whether it be the male or female, has a tendency to think they run shit and tell him or her this, you know what I'm saying? And this should never be like that in a relationship. So that's why I'm so big on balance. And one long as there's balance, I can't never tell you, like everything we do gonna have to be talked out.
And
You know what I'm
and
saying?
I'll just say this, and I definitely want to come back to this conversation because when I hear balance, when I think about working with couples, right? I would say that things, all things being equal, aren't going to always be equal,
Right,
right?
right.
So when I think about balance, I think that what's missed is a balance of respect. Because
Fair
as
enough.
long as in your relationship you both lead with
Mhm.
100% respect,
Mhm.
you minimize the likelihood of somebody pulling rank, right?
Right.
Because I respect you in and of yourself, no matter what it is you bring to the table or whatever. Like I don't feel the need to have to pull rank because I make more than you because
Right.
there are other things that's going on that you do, right?
Right.
So so the way I think about equality is probably very non-traditional, right?
That's what I'm getting at.
And so I think that to me, the balance of respect for one another, the mutual level of respect that you have for each other, is really what carries relationships. I, and I'll end this conversation with this. I once heard First Lady Michelle Obama say that this through her marriage with President Obama, they fought, they argued, they disagreed, they didn't always see things eye to eye. The one thing that never happened was she never lost respect for him, which is why she always felt like he could be her
Hard to lose
man,
it for the future
and,
president.
and he could, there were times where things got really, really tumultuous. And there might have been times where they really didn't even like each other, right? But what she said was she never lost respect for him. And
That's cause she kept her eyes on the prize.
that goes a long way. Because when I tell
She
you,
saw the big
like I
picture.
said earlier, when you lose respect for people,
Yeah.
like
That's how you know it's over.
right.
That's how you know
It's
it's
really
over.
not no coming back
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
it.
it's
Just
over.
because
Yeah.
a whole lot of other things start
Mhm. The
resentment,
small things become big. Yeah,
all kind
everything.
of
Yeah.
stuff just starts
Yeah.
seeping in when you lose
Yeah.
respect.
Ain't nothing you can tell them no more. That's what I'm saying. Like once, yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah,
Once you like I said, once I can't tell you anything anymore and I know you're not listening or respect,
yeah.
it's
Once
over.
I don't
Yeah.
respect
Yeah,
what you
yeah, yeah,
say,
it's over.
then yeah, that's it's tough. Well, look, Shawty, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank you all for tuning in for our premiere episode. Just as the doc said, this is our first time. We are trying to work out our own energy with each other. My hope is that we at least said something that sparked an interest or turned on a light bulb in your thinking, and that's kind of the point of everything that we're gonna do going forward.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a situation where me being a jock and of the jock mindset, as you can tell, I'm definitely trying to get better, man. I always appreciate, the perspective from what I call our with me we being men our better halves. So I'm always interested in what our better halves have to say. Not only do I get it from a better half, she happens to also be a licensed psychiatrist.
And I would add that despite all the many books I've read and classes I've taken, what I feel has made me the best psychologist is keeping my ear to the ground and really understanding what's going on in these streets day to day, which is one of the many reasons I respect Shawty so much because he really does pushes me sometimes in ways that anyway, I digress. But I appreciate his perspective, and I'm more than confident that you all will too.
So yeah, man, this is my first episode, the Doc and the Joc. You know what I'm saying? Y'all check us out. We don't necessarily have the same, bat time, same bat channel type thing going on, but definitely subscribe, hit the like button so you can be notified for all our future episodes that are gonna come out. And yeah, man, stick with us. We want to hear from y'all in the comments. Drop some likes in the comments, drop some dislikes, whatever it may be. It helps out with the algorithm. So just hit something when you watch the show. Something is always better than nothing. And from the Joc, I'm out of here until next time, Doc.
And I say thank you. I appreciate you all.